The other big breaking news story we're following is overseas this morning. Right now, Israeli leaders are meeting, and this is right now as Hamas has handed over 20 survivors of the ceasefire agreement that were held hostage by Hamas for 2 years. Within the last hour, President Trump speaking along with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on what comes next. After more than 2 years, 700 days, Israeli hostages held by Hamas are now back in Israel, back with families, and are now safe. Their conditions, of course, are unknown after years of malnourishment. You can only imagine how they are doing, but they are going to get the best care. The first phase of President Trump's peace plan is now underway. Cheers filling the so-called hostage square as news that the hostages had crossed out of Gaza. President Trump is in Israel, as we mentioned. He is speaking before the country's governing body with many members of his cabinet as well. And then he'll head to Egypt for a peace summit. NBC's Alice Barr reports as the world waits to see if this fragile ceasefire will hold.
Good morning. President Trump this morning addressing Israel's legislature, the Knesset, as signs across Israel thank him for his role in bringing the hostages home and bringing an end to the fighting in Gaza, at least for now. An extraordinary scene this morning in the Middle East. Israeli hostages held for 2 years in darkness and deprivation in Gaza, finally re-emerging, transferred by the Red Cross to be reunited with their families. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, Israelis cheering the moment they have prayed and protested for and chanting, "Thank you, Trump," as President Trump arrived in Israel to celebrate the peace deal he brokered, declaring on Air Force One,
"The war is over. The war is over."
Yet hours earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned the military campaign is not over. Israel and Hamas have so far agreed to phase 1 of President Trump's 20-point plan, the exchange of hostages for Palestinian prisoners while the fighting pauses. Israeli forces pull back to new lines within Gaza, and desperately needed aid flows in. But thornier questions remain about Hamas disarming and leaving power, and how to govern and rebuild Gaza as Palestinians flood back to whatever remains of their homes.
They're going to have to start by removing a lot of the structures that you see that are down to the ground. I mean, it's blasted. This is like a demolition site.
For now, though, an emotional release and rejoicing. This mother speaking to her hostage son, who is finally coming home to her, as President Trump prepares for a peace ceremony in Egypt, marking a major diplomatic achievement and long-sought relief after 2 years of devastating war. Some 20 heads of state are set to join today's peace summit in Egypt, including Arab leaders critical to the negotiations and to helping rebuild. President Trump again promoting his proposal for an international board of peace that would oversee reconstruction in Gaza. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
Humanitarian groups are ramping up aid to the Gaza Strip, focusing on food supply there. Soon, around 600 trucks a day will come in. Back in August, food crisis experts said that Gaza City was facing a famine and that would spread without help and a ceasefire. Rebuilding Gaza will be a challenge, a huge challenge that will take many, many years. Most of the area is in ruins and millions of people have had to leave their homes. Our coverage continues over on clickondetroit.com with more on the peace plan between Israel and Hamas. You can find all the updates there.